Hey, Cece. Joe. Hi. Say hello to everyone.
Hello everybody, hello everybody, I'm Cici.
Of course,
Okay.
Hercules.
Stuck in London, begin to make some dough. Lost my way and I lost my flow. Looking high and I'm looking low, but then no pretty girl no more. I saw a girl who had a perfect smile, but she wasn't you, and I got bored after a while. But I'll be fine, I got the picture in my mind. You and me got in the train to a destiny. You and me eating mango in the mango tree. Eating mango in the mango tree. Eating mango in the mango tree.
Take a bow.
Okay.
Nice.
Thank you much. Thank you much.
Guys, take two. We had a little sound issue. Apparently I hit the mute button. And so we're going to start over. But you know what? It always gets better a second time around. So
let's jump in.
I got no worries about this. So let me start from the top and let me jump in and share everything going on, right?
Yep.
So we leave Thursday night for Rhode Island. We've got a sold out T3 launch seminar, 7 days. It's crazy, business, hands-on, personal development. So we've got almost 200 grads. We've had so many people come through there and do really well.
So first we have this weekend, we have a reunion with a bunch of people that are grads that are coming back to say hello to us and talk about everything. And then the week following we have our actual T3, which is totally sold out, which is cool. And then if you're planning on going to Los Angeles T3, sign up soon because it's over half full. So
get to it. Jump to it.
Because we're not sure when the next one will be after that. Just because these guys have such crazy schedules and because we're
very important people.
I'll segue. Well, I mean, I just mean you're crazy. Like, it's hard to get to. It's like herding cats to try to get these two to get. Like,
she just totally undermined that we're important people and just said no, it's about herding cats, not that we're important. Yeah, go ahead. Continue on.
No, but that kind of segues into the next thing, which is
So just let me finish this out, seeing as you kind of hijacked my line. So T3 launch, sold out, awesomeness. We're going to cover major stuff for everybody, business, personal development, and hands-on training. And it's a super intensive program, and we can't wait to go meet a bunch of really fantastic folks. It's happening at Jeff Gelman's training center in Rhode Island, which is always fun, super homey, and a lot of space to get into a lot of action. So that's going to be fantastic. Really excited about that. We're prepping to make the move to our Chatsworth location, which is probably only a couple weeks away from us really like getting some pretty heavy duty stuff over there and like actually starting to work with dogs like pretty much ASAP. So we'll be ready to do boarding and training pretty darn soon. We'll give you guys the dates. We'll announce it specifically when it's ready to roll. But the place is looking great. It's coming together. We need a little more furniture, a little more paint, a little more cleanup. We're going to make this thing pimped out. We're going to get the garden, flowers and shrubbery and plants and the interior. It's going to look so good. I've got some big plans for this. So that's super duper exciting. And then the concept of like having dogs out and like doing big giant recalls, like with critters all around and cats, and there's bunnies there and all sorts of stuff. It's we'll see. So we're negotiating the pig, but it has to be a fast running pig.
Yeah,
maybe
have
put
to be
him
a dog training
put him on roller skates or something so they can get away. Anyways, so that's so exciting. Thanks for all the super duper major crazy big love that you guys all sent. I sent pictures out today of the new place, and you guys shared so much great love and enthusiasm and support, and I can't thank you. We can't thank you enough. And so that's fabulous. And then we've got our NOLA workshop coming up on May 7th and 8th. Me and Laura will be in New Orleans, and we will be conducting this 2-day intensive, hands-on, going very personal, very deep, and very individual with all of the training that you need for you and your dog. Whether you're a beginner or intermediate or more advanced, we'll be laying down some great stuff for you. So if you can make it out, we'd love to see you, love to spend the time. I think it's halfway sold out. Things are moving pretty quick with it, and it's going to go over halfway. So if you guys want to come hang with us, we don't know how many of these we're going to get to do. Schedule's super duper tight. We'd love to do one in California, but we can't make any promises. So if you really want to see us for sure this year, NOLA is the one to make happen, just to make sure. But it's going to be fab, and I think we're going to do it at Crescent Park, which is going to be really fun. Because it's right along the river, and it's going to be great. And then other than that, just a real quick thing. Anything you guys would like to see in our cutaways? I know we did some fun stuff last couple episodes where we cut in Henri and we cut in Shelby, and we did
anything that like is basically you want to see, because we talk a lot here. But if there's anything that like you would like more of a visual of, we're happy to do a little bit of a side, things that kind of like shows like, oh, I need to see like how Sean fits a dominant dog collar or something like that. Like that would be great. We just don't know what people need and what you don't. So if you have any input to that, we'd love to see it in the comments.
Yeah. If you're like, I need to see like what is the timing of the correction with the e-collar around reactive. Cool, we'll set it up and we'll get something cool for you. I want to see dogs do this. I want to see them play. I want to let us know. Whatever it is, we'll do our very best to try and fulfill that for you. That said, I got to jump, I got to go, I got to rock, I got to roll, or else this will never ever get done.
It'll never finish.
Are you ready?
Jump in.
Okay. Hey everybody, it's Sean from The Good Dog, and this to my right, who is flourishing and showcasing these fantastic, it's a weird name, but coffin design, right?
It's a short coffin nail for who.
I'm just saying, it's not a romantic like
you can
name.
say ballerina.
Okay, I like ballerina better.
Nail.
It kind of touches me a little more deeply. But so she's got these coffin nails, which I think look more kind of like gray. She's calling them taupe. We're still kind of negotiating the color.
They're nude. No matter what they are, they're a nude that goes with everything.
Did you say nude?
Yeah, it's a nude shade.
What does that mean?
Like sort
This is a family show.
It's not like a color, you can kind of go with anything. It's not gray. It's not like purple or blue or
so
like,
kind of neutral?
Neutral, yeah, it's a neutral tone. Yeah.
But you wanted to use nude just to be provocative?
No.
Okay, moving on. Anyways, nice nails. Lovely Laura Morgan. We're very happy to have her here, and with all of her new accoutrement. And she's got some cool jewelry and all of her stuff rocking and rolling. She's always going. What do you say we jump into this here show?
Episode number
77. Damn it. I missed a finger. I'm back though.
You did bad math, so.
Yeah, but I also, the first round, I was rocking.
You got it right, yeah.
But then I started overthinking. You guys will notice an absence of, you'll notice an absence of like shoveling. Usually I'm so hungry by the time we shoot.
Disgusting.
Hey.
I've told you, it's vile.
But wow.
Because I have to cut it and I have to mute it while I'm cutting. It's like.
You guys can help me out. Are there any other words that might be less offensive that might make me feel less crappy about myself? Like,
it's not about you. It's just chewing in
it's
general.
my behavior.
We stopped Manny from doing this. It's vile.
But he's not over here shooting the show.
Okay.
I mean, not usually.
I don't think you're vile. The sounds of chewing, to me, are absolutely
I'm very sensitive,
vile.
and I feel like you're associating me with vileness.
No, you're
now, if you were
amazing.
like it's kind of noisy and it's uncouth, it's a little unpleasant, I'd be like, oh, I hear you.
Question number 1 comes from Gary.
And I just want to talk some more.
Gary says, question, you're walking a reactive dog on a leash and wearing an e-collar.
Yes.
A persistent, unleashed dog approaches.
Yes.
There's nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. Your dog is going apeshit. You have no deterrence to scare the other dog away. What action can you take to get out of there and minimize the damage? I found myself in this position at the beach yesterday. The best I could manage was to run into the surf. This did buy me some time while the other owner ran to leash her dog.
They catching any waves, I wonder?
I wonder.
If the surf was up, they might have been, he could have body surfed on his dog. Is it Ido? I think it's Ido.
Ido is dog,
I think it's Ido.
Okay.
Gary, correct me if I'm wrong. Sorry. So, here's the deal. Off-leash dogs, I make this comparison. You guys have probably heard me make this comparison before. I really kind of equate off-leash dog stuff to drunken drivers, right? There's only so much you can do to protect yourself. You can wear your seatbelt, you can drive the speed limit, you can be careful, you can be cautious, you can be conscientious, you can watch everything, you can drive slow, you can do all this, and you can still get blindsided by a drunk driver, right? And I think the same thing really goes down as far as like being out with your dog, doing a good job, your dog's on leash, your dog's on e-collar, your dog's behaving, and all of a sudden a dog comes flying up. And you know, I don't know if there's not always something perfect you can do, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Now there are some things we can do, but a lot of times you're just compromised. You're in a bad situation. The dog gets the drop on you. It's like a sniper attack. What are you supposed to do? You're walking your dog and all of a sudden, boom. And typically we hear about clients like out walking the dogs and the dog comes from behind and like scares the hell out of the dog.
You think
and
the dog's avoiding you and all of a sudden, bang,
boom,
straight to you.
right?
Yeah.
So I love that you ran into the surf. It's a macho move. I wish I had video of it because it sounds freaking fantastic.
see it.
And I don't mean to laugh, but it does sound awesome. And so anyways, we kind of got this drunken driver thing, which is basically, I'm just saying that like, it's not always perfect. Now that said, your other part of this, it's kind of a two-part responsibility thing here, right? I'm gonna burp because that's what I've been accused of.
That's what you do.
Right, that's all I do in this show, in between information, is that you have to control your dog, right? And I know that's easier said than done. And I know, Gary, you've been working your butt off to get Ido into a really great spot. But I would question, and I don't know if you're allowed to even use them in Australia or in the part of Australia that you're in, but a dominant dog collar to take the drive out of your dog if your dog starts to get worked up, right? You're out, your dog's on a leash, on a leash and on an e-collar, behaving really well, and then all of a sudden this dog comes flying up, right? First thing I want to be able to do, and the first thing is like my responsibility, is to control my dog. So apply some pressure up with the dominant dog collar. Your dog's probably going to make a little bit of noise, be a little frantic, but it will take the drive out of him, make him more safe. You can kind of hold him in one hand and like lift his legs off the ground so he doesn't have any traction, can't really get to the dog. You can kind of keep a little bit of a safe bubble, but you also take the drive out of him. And then this other dog, then your job is like, how do I keep him away? Now, sometimes standing your ground real firmly, get the hell out of here, that kind of stuff can have an impact, right? Yeah, Tara recommended. I've done it a million times. Or you boot the dog, and you boot the dog hard, get the hell out of here. Or you carry pet convincer with you, which can be hard if your hands are, e-collar, leash, and stuff like that.
Pet convincer's waterproof, so you can't run into the surf with it.
I think you can.
Pet convincer?
Yeah.
It was a joke anyway.
Oh, okay. Girl joke. Anyways.
Run into the surf.
Yes.
That's not a girl joke. He said he ran into the surf.
Yeah,
so.
why would a pet convincer not work in the surf?
Joke. That's what I said. It was a joke.
Okay, well I didn't get it.
Joke.
Okay, I didn't get it. Sorry. Okay, so you can run into the surf with a pet convincer if you're feeling frisky and I'm trying to make sense of it. Sorry, I'm not trying to be nasty. So a pet convincer is something that you can use to ward off a lot of dogs, right? And I'm still misunderstanding the joke, but I'm going to move through. And then beyond that, dominant dog collar, like I said, try and keep control of your dog. put your dog to the side, or put your dog behind you, address the dog in front of you. If you have to boot it, keep a circle, keep a bubble. That's kind of your job. Advocate for your dog. You can't ask your dog, don't be reactive if I can't protect you. That's the deal. That's the trade-off. Like my guys, you're not allowed to be reactive, but I also won't put you in a position where you have to be reactive.
Right.
Kind of the trade-off.
Advocate.
So and that really, I kind of covered the whole deal, which was the other dog gets the pet convincer or the boot hard, right? And then
just save both dogs.
Yeah, I mean, you can save dogs from a visit to the vet and some pretty nasty stuff. And a huge thing, Gary, that I can pass along, and I know you're kind of cool hand, Luke, but a really cool thing to pass on is staying cool as can be, because as soon as you start to get a little anxious, a little manic, and a little bit freaked out, it draws a lot of attention from the other dog, and they will really come in like gangbusters. Yeah. So the more quiet you are, the more chilled out, the more you just kind of like confidently own a space, dog comes in, boot. Just send them flying. Yep. That's my best advice for that. I wish I had something better, like launch your dog out of like a rocket launcher and get him away and be safe, but I did it. There's just nothing that's perfect for it. So that would be my recommendation. And then of course, curse out that person afterwards, after that's done. Okay?
3,
cool.
2, 1.
I don't need it.
That wakes me up in the morning. I hate it.
Okay.
Thanks.
I've got chimes. I'm doing chimes.
Oh, I just said, because he was running into the surf. I just thought it was kind of funny. Oh, you can't bring a pet convincer if you're going to run into the surf.
Oh, okay.
I guess it wasn't funny. Okay. Question number 2 comes from Peter. Peter says, I rescued my Jack Russell at 6 months of age. He's almost 3 now. On day 1, I took him to the park and he was immediately afraid of everyone, even borderline aggressive as a puppy. This night got so late. No. We've moved around the country together over the last couple years, and he's lived in at least 6 different homes with me. I'm single and I work from home, so it's always just the 2 of us all the time.
Yeah.
Needless to say, I've not taken much time to socialize him properly, and when I do, he seems to only ever want to attack those I bring in my life, like girlfriends. We've since moved back to Los Angeles, my hometown, where I'm starting to have regular guests at the house. When it's just the 2 of us, he obeys commands well, but when people come over, he generally wants to attack them. He doesn't even give warning, he just goes for them as soon as they lean back on the couch or make quick movements.
Yep.
I admit I need to find more time to exercise him. We jog 1 to 3 miles 5 days a week, and on days when I'm too busy to even step outside, I try to set up obstacles in the house and have him jump around between conference calls. I also try to maintain exercise, play, discipline, food, then affection. He's a really great dog, but I'm wondering if it's possible at this stage to reach a point where he can be completely calm and non-aggressive around visitors. Etc. It's just a lot. I'm working at, so hopefully soon he can afford expensive training. He's my first dog ever. I'm 35 and I know JRTs are a difficult breed in general, so I'm certain his behavioral issues are my fault. I'm willing to do whatever is within my capacity to help him solve this issue. I don't want to give him up. Any advice is appreciated. Don't hold back. I won't be offended. Love this guy. Gotta look this guy up. I always look up whoever's asking the questions. Don't hold back.
Watch out, guys.
Oh, it's my question.
Yes,
awesome.
yes.
Peter.
I wrote some notes up for you in case you need any stuff to kind of like check in with.
Peter, I gotta look this up.
Because it's an important one.
Yeah. Okay, so.
And people are like voting for your comments better than mine, right?
Stop. It's so not true. They're just trying to like be sweet.
It means it's battle time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Peter, overhaul time. You don't need to afford expensive training. You don't have a dog who's biting the baby, biting you and everyone in your life, biting, your mom, like going crazy.
Biting quite a few, though. He can't have girlfriends over. His social life has come to a screeching halt because the dog bites everybody that comes in the house.
He wants to attack everyone that he brings into his life.
That doesn't mean kisses and cuddles.
He's not biting the baby. He hasn't bit you and sent you to the emergency room.
Because he can't have a baby, because he can't have a girlfriend.
Do you want me to answer this or not? I'm trying to encourage the man. Okay. What I'm saying with that is that, honestly, like we had a question last week where a woman was asking, it was like 2 weeks ago, question 3.5, where a woman was asking, and I've talked to her since, which is why I'm bringing it up. She had a question. Her dog was having some issues with her child. And that's an issue that it's like, go get a professional trainer right now. Don't, you know, you can do our free videos to kind of get a thing, but like, we're not here to tell you like, hey, e-collar train your dog and everything's going to be okay. That's a much bigger thing.
Yeah.
Yes, you have major issues. I'm not saying you don't have major stuff going on, but what I am saying is that you can do this at home. If you've got the time to like, you know, give them a little obstacle stuff while you're working at home, you have the time to be doing the training with him. So what I would do is overhaul. Ooh, I gotta set the timer. I'll take a minute off.
Yeah, I was going to say it's not fair if you set the timer halfway through your question.
I would so much rather not answer questions. Like, this is not competition.
Everybody
at all.
loves your questions.
Why are you giving me a tough time?
I'm not giving you a tough
Yes,
time.
you
I'm giving you some gentle ribbing.
Oh,
It's
okay.
a little pressure just to add to the fun.
Pressure. Okay, so Peter, start to finish with your JRT. That means you do our prong foundation. You can buy the DVDs, which is $75, $85. And then the e-collar foundation is $150 streaming. You can do that. Or you can go to our free videos. Bang! There's the link. You can go to our free videos and you can check out, do prong training, heel, on leash, place command, thresholds, crate, waiting for food. These are all like basic kind of leadership exercises, right? But also training exercises. Do the prong foundation. It's just like low level prong stuff for, I would say, maybe a week. Then you're going to layer all the e-collar training on top, which we also have in our free videos. How to do e-collar recall, e-collar place command, e-collar sit, down. Probably not, I don't think we have a crate and waiting for food, but you can do those just with your other stuff. This little Jack Russell just needs to be on the clock because you have a dog that's literally running your life. You have a dog that's like, won't let anyone in your house, won't let you live your life normally, won't let you do all the things that you should be able to do just because, you know, you're a human being who should be able to do these things. So full program. Start with a prong collar, make sure those leadership exercises are huge, like the thresholds, waiting for food, crate. He should be crated when you're not there. When you're home, put away all of the equipment that he's jumping through or doing, you know, any of the fancy stuff, and just do the work that we put on those, about those videos. So like place command, the dog's always in place or a down, he's locked down. This is not for life, guys. Don't tell us that we're like hard asses like this. This is just a means to an end. This dog everything needs to be shored up. He's in place command. You practiced it so much on the e-collar. You've got a little mini educator e-collar. He's in place command. If someone comes to the door and he starts to charge the door, that's a big correction. No place, you go back, you just hang out. Guests don't, like you said at the start, that when you first took him to the dog park, he was afraid of everything. There's your clue. So maybe he wasn't socialized perfectly or whatever. Big deal.
Or just insecure.
Yeah. So here we are. We don't need to worry about what happened in the past. All we know is that he's not comfortable with new people or not comfortable with like situations like a dog park or something with a lot of pressure. So don't take him into those situations. And then when he is in those situations, like if people come over, they're not to go up to him. They're not to pressure him. They're not to do, like, you don't need to have him bond with your friends or girlfriends. Don't worry about any of that. He's like your little, like, soldier buddy for, say, 2 months. So anytime he's out, he's working, which means he's in place command, down. Every time you guys are out, he's on a prong collar and an e-collar heel if you need that. Out the door, you go on the walk, it's all structured. 90% is just a structured walk, 10% he gets to roam. It sounds really rigid, but all it's gonna do is get his mind to calm down. Dad's got it. I don't need to worry about who's coming in the house. I'm not listening to impulse and anxiety, I'm listening to Dad. And then you get like this great dog. I mean, I think Jack Russells are cool.
Yeah,
they are. Cool little dogs, especially if they're just like, you know, but a lot of them come with a ton of anxiety. Just because they're not meant, I mean, in my opinion, I think they're kind of like,
they're meant to work.
Rats? Yeah.
They're meant to work, yeah.
Why am I here? So
right.
Instead of work like jumping through hula hoops and sitting on top of buckets, had this guy work by having him do mind work, which is like SAT studying for human beings. So he sits in place, he can fall asleep in place, he's gonna look bored a lot, he's at a nice heel next to you, he's listening to you, he's asking pretty much like you're dictating his whole life for 60 days, he's gonna just calm down. And when you're not around, he needs to be in a crate. Just structure every single minute and you'll get a whole different guy. And then you can start to address bigger stuff. So once you have that whole foundation, then if you're still getting reactivity at the door or anything like that, we can start to use some higher levels on the e-collar or something like that. But this first beginning is just getting him totally overhauled the same way we would do with an expensive, board and train. And that's it. That's all I got for you.
Okay. So, can I do a quick review?
Please.
Which I think you covered a ton of this stuff, but here's the deal. This dog needs several things. Tons of structure, rules, accountability, calming exercises like duration, place, command, all this stuff, all the obedience. The dog needs consequences for poor choices, full e-collar training, zero affection, and zero access to personal space and furniture. Those are some additions that I would make to that, because if you've got this biting stuff going on, chances are this dog is empowered, has got way too much freedom, way too much access, too much affection, even if you don't think it's too much affection, and not nearly enough consequences for crappy behavior or rules or structure just kind of implemented. Don't try and make the magic happen when somebody walks in the door. The magic happens 99% of the time on the walk and inside the house before anybody ever shows up. That's where you do all this work. So between Laura's response and then that just kind of overview, that's where it's all at. I mean, if that dog came in for board and train, that's what we do. We wouldn't like pull out like the special Jack Russell magic trick. It would be like, here's what we do. Don't
baby him. Don't give him too much good like affection stuff that he doesn't need. This is the time where he needs to kind of like start getting involved in the way you want to live life, not just the way he does.
Okay.
All right.
Awesome. Thanks. Let's move on to number 3.
All right. Question number 3 comes from Oleg.
Hey, Oleg.
Oleg Vosakrensky. Hey, Sean and Laura. First of all, major congratulations on your interior place. Bless you.
Thank you.
What an amazing accomplishment and testament to your hard work and devotion.
Thank you so much.
Your post on goals made me wonder, would you ever devote a portion of Q&A Saturday to goal setting and personal development? How did you pick your goals? How do you keep track of your goals? Do you find it's better to keep your goals public or private? Where do you turn for personal development? What daily practices do you recommend that encourage personal growth? If this isn't the right forum for these questions, feel free to ignore them, but please know that I consider you and Laura, included me, to be 2 of my mentors. What? Oleg? And I continue to grow and develop into a better person due to your instruction and inspiration via your posts. All the best to both. Oleg.
Fantastic.
Oleg, that's
thanks so much, Oleg. Okay, so interestingly enough, this has been a conversation we've had a lot lately. So my first thing is, yes, we have been talking about this, right? So we've been talking about this a lot, and it's something that we want to start incorporating more into Q&A. Well, I don't think we've just kind of really like sat down and figured out how we're going to like put it in and how we're going to like promote or advertise it on the actual like Q&A Saturday like promotions and stuff like that. But we really want to start answering questions about business, about training, but also about personal development stuff. So you kind of hit like right on perfect timing. So let's see, you asked about how do you pick your goals, right? And I want both of us to answer this question because you're like the goal queen. I've got my own way of doing goals, but I think we could add some really good stuff to this. So, so if, I don't know if you want to answer this first one or if you want me to, but he was asking your goals, like how do you pick your goals? How do you decide on what are going to be your goals? For me, I just said that your goals should be something that are obviously passion driven, something that gets you up early, keeps you up late, as Jim would say. It's something that you're really excited about trying to accomplish, something that would feel very meaningful to you. And then also there's small goals, right? So there's these big giant goals of like, we've talked about big goals about impact and changing the world and affecting balanced training and the way people perceive tools and things like that. But then there's also small stuff that we want to do every day. And it's like, I got to get to the laundromat and I've got to gotta, you know, I don't have to go to the laundromat, but you know, whatever it is that you might, I gotta go get stuff for smoothies or whatever. So we've got our day-to-day stuff, and then we also have our big time kind of goal stuff.
Picture
and
stuff.
yeah, and I think that, excuse me, I think that it should be passion based, and it's kind of a weird question for him to say, like, how do you pick your goals?
Yeah.
Which worries me that he doesn't have a connection to
I actually think it's actually a common thing, to be honest. A lot of people don't know if they have a ton of goal issue or like a ton of goals that they want. They're like, okay, I have 30 goals because I want to like go to the Great Wall of China, but I also want like a successful dog training business or something. They're like two different things. They're like, I know maybe I can't do the Great Wall this year, but I know maybe I can do the business thing. So I find when I've talked to people about goal setting before, I used to do like goal coaching sort of thing, because I have a weird system with it, is I talk about basically if you look back on the past year and you write down everything that you were really excited about that you did the past year and why. You don't have to write like why, but like when I look back, like if you were to say, okay, the last 12 months, I could write you a list, probably, you know, give me a couple hours and I'm going to write down like 10 things that I'm like, I was super proud of that. Like when I did that, man, I was proud of that. That felt so good. And I like, it surprised me how much it felt good.
Yeah.
So if you don't know where to start, sometimes it's good to just start on what you've done already and say like, okay, that's kind of like, even though that felt like not a big goal to me, that was like the thing I was most excited about. So why is that, you know? And then you start to create goals for the future that maybe are kind of like in that area or in that thing. And then also know that your goal list can always change. You could be like 6 months in and be like, yeah, done. I don't need to finish this.
I don't know about you,
books.
but I have so many of those goals that were like, oh, that was so important. And then
it just goes and morphs. Usually they morph.
And that's a good sign of healthy development and progress and all that.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing with goals is you do a version of what I do. We both do a similar thing. It's just every week or every day, you're taking tiny little steps towards those big goals that you decide are important to you.
Yeah.
And I would pick like 4 or 5 kind of like umbrella goals. And then every day you do a couple things toward those umbrella goals. And then all of a sudden you're at the front of the line going, how did I get here?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah. Like us getting the center or us getting more crew or building the business in New Orleans or any of this stuff, they've all been tiny little baby steps. First we sat, we had a conversation and came up with an idea and said, wouldn't it be cool, once again, passion driven, wouldn't it be cool to have a business in New Orleans? Cool. Yeah. So the idea started there, the germinated there, and then we decided like, okay, let's start like blueprinting steps to get there.
Yeah.
And you don't have to have all the blueprint steps. You don't have to have it all perfectly ironed it out.
No.
Right? All you have to do is say, this is where I want to go, and here's my very first few steps. And you just kind of like wriggle around and like go towards them, and you're going to mess them up, and this one's not going to work, and this one you're going to be like, that was not such a good choice.
You can spend some time, like say one of your goals was, you know, create a dog training business in a year, just for instance.
Yeah.
Right. So you're like, what I encourage is like just taking some quiet alone time to write down everything that you can think of that would actually take you there. And I'm not just talking about like train 100 dogs. I'm talking about like buy a prong collar, you know, or like buy 3 prong collars, or like call my mom and ask if I can train her. Like the smallest things, adding those to the list, and then just having some fun and being like, wow, how many of these things can I accomplish per week? And by the end, I've got what I need.
Yeah. And then one of his other questions are, should your goals be private or public? So you might have different feelings than me on this, but for me it's like, I think goals should be something shared with people that you trust, people that you know will support you. Not that they're going to say like, yeah, go ahead if it's something crazy, that will also give you good feedback, but people that you know have your best interests at heart, have your best, it's a double header, so maybe we get a little more time, that have your best interests at heart and truly want you to go after what makes you happy. And that's kind of the big rub there, here is that a lot of people, when you start going after big dreams, are going to feel very challenged by it, and they can feel compromised, and there can be friction, and it can be really hard for them. So sometimes you have to be really cautious about who you're going to share that stuff with. For me, I have all my stuff written down in books and in diaries. Laura's got a ton of diaries, all of her stuff. You take every year and you write down a comprehensive goal list and do your thing.
It's good for me to look back because it helps me remember stuff.
Yeah, and it's funny is that I was just going through 2014, 15, and 16, and you know, Jim Rohn's got something where he talks about, you know, goal setting, and he's like looking back at his old stuff, and he's like, I was in the first grade, you know, and I really see that. I see that there's a through line. I see that there's a theme of where I'm trying to get, but I can tell how undeveloped it is. I can tell how immature it is in a lot of ways.
Who cares? 'Cause it
right?
got you to what you
But it's getting somewhere. So part of me looks back and goes 2014. Ooh, that's a little bit hard. But then I see 2015 is better in the mindset and the understanding, the comprehension. And then 2016 is even deeper and less superficial and more involved. So just make your goals, decide what you want, make your goals, write them down, and start taking little tiny steps towards them every single day. That discipline, this is a very disciplined girl right here, very disciplined guy, and that's how we get this stuff done.
It's all about discipline.
You cannot just make these goals, you cannot just set these goals up and not take the action daily and get where you want to go.
So to end this, Oleg, I could sit here, we could both sit here and parrot like all the goal setting stuff that we've ever read. But I've been goal setting since I was 18, which that's 13 years. But I've been goal setting every year, and I'm really big on it, like, especially with the discipline part of it. That's not just like, oh, I want this, and then that's it. It's like, I want this, and what am I going to do every day to get it? So that's a big thing. But honestly, if you want help with goal setting, Jim Rohn's Art of Exceptional Living, he talks about goal setting, and he talks about what discipline does and what all the little elements. Every time I hear it, I'm like, I've been listening to it now for 5 years. I know it sounds culty, but for 5 years I've been listening to him, and probably every other day I get around to the part about the goal setting stuff, and I'm like, man, that guy just covers all the bases. So if you really want more of the stuff,
and he keeps it simple.
Yeah, it's super simple. He just breaks it down, but it really is all about discipline. So.
And just to close it out from me, but seriously, just to close it out, I keep it even more simple than Laura. I write down my top stuff for the year, and then I come up with 6 things that are really important, and I really focus on everything's on there is important, but those 6 things are the ones that are the real big drivers for big change. And I really try to make sure every day I do some kind of little steps to try and get towards there.
Cool.
So
thanks, Oleg.
And did he asked for if there was anything we recommend, and you just did. So Jim Rohn's Art of Exceptional Living.
Let us
Thanks,
know.
Oleg. And we'll try and include some more personal development in this stuff. Cool.
Thanks. Okay, question number 4 comes from Miss Dorey Kendall.
Yes.
Dorey says, I wanted your opinion on the best way to work with one of my chihuahuas. Lucy is pretty well behaved for the most part, but on walks she definitely needs some training. I've always walked her on a harness, and she tends to pull a bit and walk ahead of me. I'm trying to teach her to heel, but with a harness it's only working a little bit. I've bought her a slip lead, and she refuses to even move when I put her on her. Would you recommend a knee collar for her? If so, what brand do you recommend? Thanks, Sean and Laura. Okay, Dorey.
I have some notes here if you want to.
I have notes in my head for Dorey.
I'm sure you do.
Miss Dorey.
I just wish you'd read that first line.
Yes. That's kind of what was on my mind. Harnesses are the devil's work.
Yes.
They encourage pulling. So Dorey, this is interesting because I know you kind of want to
I think she's coming to T3, right?
Yeah, potentially. So this is I'm assuming that you know that. Oh, Belle, what's going on with you? That you know about prongs and e-collars and all that stuff. I'm assuming that the question you're asking this is because it's a chihuahua, a small little dog.
Yeah.
So what I would recommend right now is make a bonfire with a harness. Belle, what's going on? Belle's having a freak out.
Yeah, just have a little anxiety attack. Hang in
She
there,
has
lady.
these things where she starts to shake. I wonder what happened.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't hear anything go down.
Lay down. Down.
Usually it's smoke detectors that kind of ignite that stuff.
Or
It's
like
bad
a
news.
sound that sounds like smoke detectors.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I'm assuming that's the Chihuahua element to all of this. Just hold her. So, Dorey, let's forget about the e-collar right now. I would just get a micro prong collar. So that's like, it's not made by Hermspringer, but I think you can get it on...
Pet. Is it Pet Edge or Pet?
Yeah, Pet Edge or one of the, like, you just look up micro prong and they're almost like paper clip size. They're so small and they tend to like turn out like upside down because they're not like perfectly made. Yeah, but they're better than nothing. So I would recommend getting that micro prong, putting it on your Chihuahua, and just walking the dog in heel like you would like with any other dog that I assume you have on prong. The harness isn't going to work, and the slip lead, she's just going to shut down if she's kind of one of those Chihuahuas. We've had that sort of issue before. So I wouldn't go straight to the e-collar with I'm assuming it's a small little guy. So just do like a micro prong and just teach the heel like that. If she's still super stubborn with that, then you can move to e-collar, but my assumption is that she'll be okay with the micro prong. Oh, cool. Go prong. Go micro. Yeah, and if she's a Chihuahua that's like, you know, there's the like 20-pound Chihuahuas and stuff, you can get a small prong collar, a 2.25 millimeter. Take that, take out enough links. There should be at least 4 links in it, and then you just work the dog like that.
Yeah, and then that was...
So watch our walk video, which is there's a Manny video where we're teaching Manny how to walk at heel on a prong collar. We also have like
the Good Dog Walk.
Yeah.
Which I think is probably right on the money for her because it's kind of an easier dog. And I think for her transferring that to a Chihuahua would probably be pretty easy for her.
Yep.
So that's on the, I don't know if you want to link it up or if it's just in www.
Is it his walk?
Well, she could look at both. She could look at Manny's walk and she could look at the Good Dog Training Walk, whatever it's called.
This link up here that I'm pointing to, that's the link that's going to head you to just the Good Dog Training, like, how-to videos. So you can kind of search through there and search through the walk and find the ones with the prong collar.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's going to be your best bet.
Yeah,
You know?
I think if you watch that, how to learn to train the good dog way to walk, and you fit the prong collar right, I think you'll be aces in no time at all.
And you say what brand of e-collar, if you were to do an e-collar, we typically, like 95% of the dogs here work on e-collar technologies, Educator Mini 300. So that's at ecollar.com or amazon.com. You can get...
God, I wouldn't even go with an e-collar right now.
No, you wouldn't.
You know?
I'm just saying, like, in the future, if you ever need an e-collar on another dog, that would be the way to go, just if you ask the brand. But your Chihuahua just needs a micro prong and a little...
It's probably like a couple little corrections away from being awesome.
Being like, oh, great, okay.
Yeah, I think so too. So check that out and check out those links and you should be well on your way.
Okay, thanks, Dorey.
Yes.
Question number 5, final question. This comes from Stacy.
The heat is on.
Stacy says, my dog is named Brownie Bacon, which sounds amazing.
Yeah, I'd love a brownie bacon.
Except no bacon, because we're getting a pig.
I like a bacon brownie.
80-pound, half pit bull, half Shar-Pei. I really need help. A stranger was outside the front door the other day. The dog went into an aggressive barking fit. It took me calling her 3 times to get her attention. She sat in front of me. This is when things went bad. I thought she was calm. I gave her a treat for coming and doing the sit command.
Yep.
Then she started growling. In the moment I thought she may have switched into play mode, I was very wrong. The dog's ears went back and low while staring hard at me. There was nothing near for me to put in between her and protect myself. Ooh. She then jumped up and mouthed, in quotes, my wrist. No skin was broken or scratched. I said no strongly and loudly. Oh, that's for the last one. She continued growling and walking in a circle, confused. I told her to go to her spot and made her sit.
Yeah.
She's yet to learn down command. It's been a huge struggle. At the time, I was surprised and irritated, but now I'm leery. Please, what is the best thing to do to calm her down when she's at level 10 and I want her at level 2, 3? Was there anything I could have done when she was focused on me and started growling? Hoo-wee, yes, there is.
Right? Okay, so.
Hit it.
Stacy. So the first thing, you know, I wrote you a lot of notes, Stacy, because you got a serious little shindig going on.
Extra minutes here.
Oh, I get bonus minutes. Cool. Okay. So first thing I would do is I would hire a highly experienced balance trainer, right? I mean, you've got a pretty serious situation on your hands. I'd love to see you bring somebody in who really knows what they're doing, works with e-collars, prong collars, and gets you into a good space. Okay? If that's not a possibility, then we go to the second tier, right? So I'd immediately get rid of treats. That's not going to help the situation. That's only going to make things worse. If you're trying to get a dog who's got nasty, negative, aggressive behavior going on, treats are only going to encourage that behavior. It's not going to inhibit that behavior. So let's get rid of that. Let's let go of that whole concept. And it also clues me into like how you've probably been interacting with that dog. It's probably been softer than what that dog needs. So that's another point. If you want to turn this around, it's going to be major overhaul time, right? So you don't calm your dog down in the moment. You were asking like, how do I calm her down when she's in like a red zone? That's not when you calm her down. You calm your dog down in a comprehensive fashion in all the other contexts before the bombs fall. You calm her down on the walk. You calm her down on thresholds or at thresholds. You calm her down with duration place command and sit and down, especially if she doesn't want to do down. That's how you calm her down. You teach her that here are the rules, here's the structure, and you are accountable for all of this structure, rules, and there are consequences for breaking them. That's how you get a dog to break through and get into a different mindset. Treats, asking, putting a dog back in place after they've broken a million times, that's not going to get you anywhere as far as mindset shift. It's not going to cause the dog to be more secure, more confident, more relaxed, more deferential around you. None of that stuff. You're not going to get that. So you get the calm not by doing it in the moment. You get the calm by creating like, it's like going to the World Series without practicing. Like you've got to practice. So when the World Series happens of somebody being there, you're already ready. You're already in a good zone. Okay? So that's part of it. Your dog needs a serious attitude, perception, reboot. And I mean this like super clearly. Your dog is acting like a jackass, and I don't want to sound too harsh, but that is super inappropriate behavior, really dangerous, and it's time for you to lay down the law. I don't use the term like pack leader because I'm not really down with that, but you need to be a strong ass leader with your dog. You've got a big 80-pound dog who's making bad choices about other people and then about you, which tells me he doesn't respect you. It means he absolutely doesn't respect you. We just were talking about on Periscope today about dogs redirecting on owners and handlers and why. And in my experience, I've seen it over and over and over again. The dogs make decisions about who they can and can't redirect on. And I can tell just by reading what you shared that you've shared too much softness, too much affection, too much food, too much will you do this, too much please will you do this, and not enough of do this now, and here are the rules, and here's the accountability. I'm going to bust your ass if you don't listen. That's a very different conversation, and that will create a very different mindset shift for your dog. If you're not willing to do that, you're probably stuck, and you're probably up that creek that nobody wants to be up. So that's just something to really kind of like take a quick look at in your mind. If you're not willing to do that work, you're probably going to be stuck with your dog. So prong or e-collar training, full out, right? Now, here's where it gets sticky. If Laura was answering this question, she would probably just say do prong and then immediately go to e-collar. And I'm probably going to say the same thing. The only difference is if there's some kind of big financial impasse. You can't afford an e-collar. You can't do it. You can only afford a prong collar. Okay, cool. If that's the case, then it's prong collar time, and it's time to get down and get busy with the prong collar. It's time to you should, honestly, I rarely promote our videos as something to get, but with what you're sharing, if you're not going to get professional help, I would get our prong collar foundation DVD and I would follow it to the T. I would lock that dog down. He's in the crate. He's waiting for the food. He's waiting at thresholds like a freaking gentleman. He's healing like such an angel that he can't believe it. He doesn't sniff, mark, target other dogs on the walk. He comes in, you put him in place, he doesn't move no matter what goes down. I heard a buffalo goes through the house, he does not move. Those are how you build up the foundational pieces of having a dog that's more deferential, more polite, more courteous, more relaxed, less stressed, and looking to you for information in a permission kind of based relationship, rather than what you're getting right now is basically like two equal species living together, and one has got like genetic, territorial, protective, possessive disposition and is like, I'm gonna go do this stuff. I don't like this guy, and then if you stop me, I'm gonna chew on you, right? So if you really wanted to get down to it, talk turkey, I would do the prong collar foundation, and then I'd move on to e-collar work. Yeah. If you're down to do the work, if this is super important to you, if this is just like, it's a pain in the ass and he tried to bite me and I'm worried and I'm scared and like, but like.
I just don't like the tension moment. I just don't like the like, no, and the dog was like, it was almost like the dog was like looking at you and then like.
Gauging.
Oh yeah? Yeah, it's just like, I don't like that whole thing. It reeks of all the dogs that come in here, and all that stuff does is like snowball.
Pushy, crappy stuff.
Yep. It's like, it really is the kid that like touches the thing, and the parent goes, no, don't you dare touch that again. And they look at the parent and they go, touch it. Yeah, it had that same feeling to me. So.
And then the parent goes, Johnny, do you know why that was bad?
Yeah, like, let's talk about it.
That's a great combo, Dad. Yeah. Bink, and touches it again.
Right.
So this, once again, I want to get down to like brass tacks though, before I go any further, and that's Junior, please go lay down. And this is all effort based. This is all commitment based. This is all about you being really involved and really giving a big crap about doing hard work. Because if you don't, you'll never get anywhere. Yeah. Like a dog like this obviously has been practicing bad habits long enough to create like some pretty negative stuff. This is all about hard work. So if you're down, you're interested, you're committed, you can make some magic happen, right? So we just recommended the Prong Collar Foundation DVD, and then Junior, and then the and then the e-collar DVD foundation, not foundation, but the e-collar DVD, and they come together and they work off of each other. Mm-hmm. You want a bomb-proof recall. You want to be able to call your dog back away from anywhere. Mm-hmm. That's how you get it. Mm-hmm. You want your dog to not break place when somebody walks in. That's how you get it. You want your dog to walk like an angel on the walks and not be reactive towards dogs. Mm-hmm. That's how you get it. Mm-hmm. We don't just promote that to sell DVDs. I would be just as happy for you to watch our free videos. The only problem is you don't get as much detail and you don't get as much hand holding and you don't get a program in the same way that you do with like our 90-page program for the DVD or our 70-something page.
You just have to work harder. It's just like anything. Like,
but not only work harder, you have to a lot of guesswork.
Yeah.
Like you and me really took a lot of the guesswork out.
Work harder could be watching 70 episodes of Q&A Saturday.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it would be entertaining.
Here we go. If you watch all the episodes, I think what I'm saying is like we talk about all the structure, we talk about all the stuff. That
all of these themes are recurring. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to wrap this up because the hook's going to come out. So I want you to have perfect heel, bomb-proof place, immaculate thresholds, bomb-proof recall, perfect sit, down on command. That down needs to happen. If that dog is not downing, you've got a problem on your hands. Remove all affection. Dog is always working. No access to personal space or furniture. And I'd highly recommend, like I said, a full e-collar course. That, I rest my case, is what I would recommend for you. If you came and sat down on this couch and were like, what do I do with my dog? I'd say, this is exactly what we're going to do. And we would return a dog in 2 weeks to you that you would go, wow, he's dramatically different. And it would be all because of all the stuff I just shared with you. So hopefully that helps. So this is pretty exciting, pretty fun. You ready for a little fun stuff?
Giveaway time.
I think this is kind of our most fun stuff.
It's definitely our favorite part.
It's like Christmas like every week. We had a bunch of folks submit stories about why they'd like to win The Art of Exceptional Living by Jim Rohn, which is mine and your favorite desert island. I'm going to even just pull it out right here. This would be the one thing if I had to, if there was nothing else I could listen to again. You too?
Yep.
This would be it.
If you receive this from Sean or any DVD that we give out, all I can say is that please pay it forward. One day. in 5 years, you give out 10 of the same thing that changed your life, that to us means more than anything.
That's great.
Yeah, if you get a DVD from us, you use it with your own dogs, and then you give it to a rescue that needs it. Like, anything that you can do to pay forward everything that we feel like, I mean, for us it's so exciting that we actually have the audience to like, that write in for this stuff.
And care, that they actually care,
unreal to us. But if we're giving you that and you happen to have an audience at some point in your life, even if it's just friends of yours.
So you guys have heard my story, you've heard Laura's story.
Yeah.
You know that I came from having nothing. Like, charity was something I was looking for.
Yeah.
And so to be in this position in a handful of years to be able to pay this stuff forward is really, really fabulous. So, with all of that said, guys, we're really excited to give away this Jim Rohn Art of Exceptional Living. For me, like I said, this is what really makes me feel good.
We received a ton of submissions.
Yeah, and unfortunately we can't give one away to everybody. But what we did was we decided to give a few more away than we had initially expected to. So with that said, I'm going to read off a few names. Is that cool?
Please.
Okay. So first winner of the Jim Rohn Art of Exceptional Living 6 CD, not the 2, but the 6 CD, the Big Daddy, is, you want to help me pronounce that?
James Gundlach.
James Gundlach.
Or Gunlach.
Gunlach. James, you just won it, buddy. So, happy for you. What's your recommendation with this always?
Listen to it at least 10 times and then let us know. And then continue and continue and continue. But start with 10 times.
Second winner. Want to read it?
Tony Campanello.
Boom. Tony.
And all of these, we're not going to read the emails that came with them, but let's just say Sean and I were like in tears for a week reading all the emails. So
really special.
Really special to hear from all you guys. So we're not going to read them because they're all personal, but it was just good to read all this stuff. So Tony, thank you so much for your email.
Yep. Number 3 is...
Yakira.
What?
From Periscope, right?
Yes.
Yes. Number 4 is George Lanrow.
Boom.
George, your email was great too.
Yeah.
Brought us both to a very good place, like in the good way of like you've got some good stuff ahead of you with this. So have some fun with that.
The last one.
Number 5, Kim Biden.
Yes, is that how you pronounce
Eden?
it? Kim, we're very excited. Your story was awesome.
Yeah.
And inspired us quite a bit. And so basically, we were supposed to give away one of these babies, and we're giving away 5.
I have to say that I didn't even know about that. Sean sprung that, which is so Sean. Zig Ziglar talks about personal development and says it's like bathing. It wears off. So personal development, in my opinion, gets a bad rap because a lot of people hear it and they're like, well, my brother did that. He read that book and now he's still a disaster. It's like, yeah, because your brother read it once. You have to keep it up.
That said, time to announce a couple foundation DVD winners. Last week, Laura gave a thorough tongue lashing to several rescues.
Not a tongue lashing, just like, come on guys, let's go. I mentioned last week that there was someone, Maddie Waddy on Facebook, who's used a lot of our stuff for like basic stuff for dogs that she works with at the shelter and how much growth she's done. She said, I think she commented on it. She's like, yeah, it's taken me a year to convince the rescue that I was working with how great things are, and now I'm like giving seminars there, which is so awesome.
Isn't that wild?
Crazy. She's just the bomb though. Maddie is like, she's like one of those like low key, like you want her in your corner, like no matter what. Like she's just like. She's
a quiet ass kicker.
Quiet ass kicker. Perfect way.
No, I dig her so much. She's wise. She takes action. She kicks butt. She doesn't make excuses. I like her a lot.
I actually spent a couple days with her. I went out to actually like work with their dogs, and they put me up in their house, which is like this gorgeous cabin, and like she was just her and her dude are the super coolest ever. But she wrote me an email and said, free prong collar DVD giveaway. Hi Laura, our local shelter is so huge that I did not consider emailing you for a free prong collar DVD because I was worried it would get lost in the shelter shuffle. However, on second thought, I could probably give it to one of the longtime and dedicated employees to share with some of the other dedicated employees. So I'd love to get a copy of the prong DVD for this place. Love and hugs, and so happy for you on the new place. And our second DVD goes to the Midwest Animal Rescue and Services.
Oh yeah.
So she says, this is Vicky. Vicky says they're open to all kinds of tools and training techniques, which means they're probably open to clickers and treats, but also balance methods.
Yeah.
We're easily one of the largest in Minnesota, adopting out 2,000 dogs a year.
Jeez,
we normally
Louise.
have 300 to 400 dogs on our site, and all in foster homes. We have a trainer, but he's overwhelmed by all the fosters that show up each week with so many problems, so she sends them to our site. I can't thank you guys enough, as honestly you've changed the way I've with my dogs, and just listening to you guys how much you've changed other people's dogs. I know years ago I would have thought you guys are a little harsh, but once you get a dog or foster dogs that are not friendly with people, dogs, and aggressive on leash or pullers, your tools make my life and the dog's life all the better. Chokes me up. I'm always the one moving, taking the street side, and giving my dogs more room while walking other dogs. I'm shocked how many clues people with their retractable take over the entire sidewalk and are asking for trouble. I may have to set up my 120-pound dog with the bling like Cujo has on his collar. And Manny, I love you guys. Happy Easter. You've saved so many dogs and helped people from horrible situations. Oh, Vicky, that's so sweet. We're just so grateful for you guys. So those two are going out. We're going to send out those foundation DVDs, prong DVDs, and it's going to come with a 50 or 60 page PDF with this one. So those are all yours, Maddie, Waddy, and Vicky. We're so grateful for you guys writing in.
Okay guys, so as we're doing with our regular kind of program here, we're doing like the TGD closing thought, right? And we don't want it to be too heavy, and we're not trying to like beat you over the head with any big deal. But here's the deal. So like adversity leads to kick-ass people, right? And we see it over and over and over again, that people that have had it hard, people that have had it tough, people that have not had it easy, they tend to be the people with more drive, more tenacity, more push, more grit, more determination, and they tend to be the ones that come and make great stuff happen. And then the folks that come from really easier, more cushy, softer, needs met kind of lifestyle. Now we're making generalizations.
They have their own set of challenges.
Absolutely. But what as far as like we're just going to talk about accomplishing and going out and going after your stuff, I think a lot of times those people are softer because of what they have. They have less to lose and they feel very comfortable, and I think that causes a lot of people to not really excel. I think we see
or not push themselves as much as they could.
I think we see men and women both that come from cushy, nice situations just float. I mean, it's the whole immigrant principle, you know, the first generation immigrants come over, they kick ass, they build businesses, they flourish. Then the second generation, who's all of a sudden got money and nice things, they flatline or they start to go this direction. Why? Because they're comfortable. Because comfort breeds, what's the word? Comfort breeds like
just like complacency?
Yes. Comfort breeds complacency and comfort and just kind of a static kind of energy. Whereas when your back's against the wall and you really need to make things happen, I think adversity, lack of resources behind you, all push you to move forward and make amazing things happen. So I think a lot of people look, if they've had a hard time, and especially in the dog training world, I see a lot of people that have had a really rough time. I think they look at adversity, they look at tough times, they look at bad family stuff, they look at like I didn't come from money or education or things were really rough at home, and they see that as a negative or a drawback, and I think it's absolutely the opposite. I think for me personally, I'm so grateful for all the kind of crappy stuff that went down. Sorry about that. All the crappy stuff that went down, because I wouldn't be in the position to be so inspired and motivated to give and impact and try and change the world if I hadn't experienced the stuff that I'd experienced. This adversity, this stuff that's been problematic and challenging for me is absolutely my motivation to go out and try and make great things happen. And if there's anything we could say, just go out, be freaking driven, and do not stop for anything to get what you want out of this life. You get one little shot, swing that bat, otherwise you'll be, you know what that is.
6 feet under.
That's the dirt nap. All right,
Thank you,
go get it. We'll talk to
See
you
ya.
soon.
Bye.
Bye.